Get your heels,
All right. Good evening, Old School Texas Tech. We have no football game. There is no relevant college football game this week because these guys are not playing. So we really, in some ways, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to be kind, but we're going to still predict the rest of the Big 12 games. It's interesting, though. Do you know who's sitting at the top of the Big 12 standings?
that would be the Red Raiders. I love it.
Texas Tech Red Raiders.
We're not even in
And
the top five either, which is irritating, but whatever.
yeah, and who's not ranked? Yep. I wonder if maybe when Baylor comes to town in a couple weeks, if that might be mentioned in a locker room speech before the team takes the field. What do you think?
I don't know, but I hope we score 80 points on them. Would love to just
We could
continue.
be the undoing of Mr. Aranda. I actually like him, but not I won't like him that day.
Oh,
All right, so we're gonna do no further ado, we're gonna do our Big 12 predictions. I did absolutely awful last week. I was 2-4. The Dallas real estate expert, he did much better. 500, 3-3. It's getting harder and harder to predict this crazy conference that we have created. So now the season total, Jordan is 47-18. I am 50-15. So yeah, I think my math is good there. 65 games we predicted. And
nailed
then
it.
it does not get any easier. Actually, I've got a coin here. So I might just start flipping it up in the air. I don't know.
He said I
So
did much better, and I picked one more game than you correctly. Wow. Big
so
time.
before we get any further, we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe, like, and comment. And the Facebook comments are fine, but if you would comment on the YouTube channel, it would really help us out. It would allow us to, just like any business, it would allow us to get some better equipment. It would allow us to create some better content over time. We would really, really appreciate it, and I think that it would be a win-win for everybody involved. So, as per tradition, I think maybe one week we had a variation because of technical issues, but I'm going to let the DFW real estate superstar go first. Tomorrow night, October 11th, the Utah is it Utah Utes, right? Utah
It
Utes.
is.
They head to Sun Devil Stadium, which, by the way, I mentioned it before. It's a very fun place to go to a college football game. But anyway, let's get back to seriousness. Who's going to win that game tomorrow night?
Get that coin out. Let's toss it right now. I this is a tough one. I know I looked at the ESPN matchup indicator. That's the only one that I looked at for this entire weekend. And they had them almost dead even. Utah was up a little bit, and I think Utah was favored by 3 based on, the spread. We know that doesn't mean a whole lot. I defer. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Utah only because they have a veteran coach, and that guy does seem to win most of the big games. They've already lost once. They don't seem to lose very often. I'm gonna say that I think Utah nips them. It's
That's going to be a great game. 9:30, 9:30 Central kick, I believe, too. So it'll be a late night game. All
yep.
right. So then this one I think this is a really compelling game just because I was very, very impressed with Cincinnati when we played them. I thought they were fantastic against us. I really was very impressed. It's Cincinnati in Orlando at Central Florida.
Oh, that's an interesting matchup. I wonder if they've ever played each other before. The Big 12 joining up, probably
Were
not.
they in the same conference? Didn't they come from the same conference
Maybe.
before?
I guess it's possible.
Yeah, I didn't
Maybe.
pay attention
Maybe.
back then. I'm
Now,
glad we have them both now. I'm glad we have. I like them both now, as long as they're not playing us.
this is a toss up too. I think these are two very evenly matched teams. Central Florida's now lost back to back in games that they were favored in, and Cincinnati could have very easily beaten us.
And they had a bye week last week too. Central Florida did not.
You know what? I'm going to take the road team. I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I do not know what the spread is, but I'm going to take Cincinnati to win. But I also am bothered by that because I know Gus Malzahn. I don't know that there's been many times in his career where he's lost three in a row as a head coach.
Okay, you stick with Cincinnati.
It was
You can still
Cincinnati.
change it if you want.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with the home team on this one.
Go with Central Florida.
I'm gonna go with the home team. I'm gonna go with Miles because I would look and I can almost guarantee Malzahn has not lost three in a row ever. First time for everything.
Probably not.
We'll go with Central
Probably,
Florida.
probably not. Okay. Next one is Arizona at BYU. BYU is
Ooh,
undefeated.
interesting.
I thought Arizona was a good team as well.
Okay.
Strange game. But we'll get to it at the end. We'll do a Texas Tech praise session at the end. But anyway, Arizona at BYU. Who's going to win?
Where's that one played at?
At BYU, Provo, I believe. Right?
Okay, that is it. So Provo is where they play.
Tough place to play.
I think BYU is going to continue their run. When it's this, these are interesting matchups.
Yeah, they are.
This is going to be the hardest week to predict all
It's
year
really hard.
so
Really
far.
hard. Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if Arizona knocked them off, but at the same time, I'm just going to go with the home team. And BYU's been pretty hot. They've beat some good teams.
Yeah. I was pretty impressed with Arizona. I do think we'll do a little recap at the end. All right. Iowa State at West Virginia.
I'm going with Iowa State on that one. I just
Okay.
think they're the much better team. I watched some of their game against Baylor, and they look like a pretty good team.
Okay. Last one. This one's getting a lot of national attention. It's going to be a pretty late kick too. K State at Colorado in Boulder.
Interesting. I'm going to go with K State on this one.
Okay.
Colorado's
Okay.
gotten better. They've got the passing attack, but K State is still physical in the trenches, both offensive and defensive lines. I see that quarterback ripping off some runs. I think K State's going to win that game.
Okay.
I'll be
Okay.
honest with you, I'm going to be pulling for Colorado, but Colorado, I'm a little, I'm like our mutual friend. He's a Colorado fan. I'm like a very, 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 very light beer type fan. I'll pull for them when I see them on, but I'm not going to be wearing their stuff all over town, right? So I just think K State is too good for them, too well coached, and I think
Extremely fundamentally sound.
very much.
You know what's really a compliment to our coaching staff is our coaching staff is actually starting to get compared to K-State's coaching staff, especially on special teams and defense with some of the adjustments we've made at halftime and stuff. I mean, even be mentioned in the same. If you look back at the last 10 years, I mean that's we'll get more into it later, but that's impressive. I'm happy. I'm proud of
Yeah,
the staff.
I'll take that. K State beats Colorado.
All right, so let me clarify. You've got Utah, you've got UCF, you have BYU, you have Iowa State, and you have Kansas State.
You nailed it
Okay, one, two, three. We only have 5 games this week.
because I
All
know
right,
Baylor and Tech are both off until they play next weekend, but
and
it
then we
does
have some
feel
other
like
buys too,
playing. So this must be the weekend of buys. So there's no Houston or Kansas playing this week.
and no TCU.
So it looks like a lot of people have a bye this week.
Yeah. Okay. All
When you
right.
have a 16 team conference now, there's going to be some of this, right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. All right, I'm gonna roll with you on Utah beating Arizona State, but that's gonna be a heck of a game. That's gonna be a really good game, and that's gonna be a tough one. And the spread on that one's 5.5. But that's gonna be a close game. Um, I'm gonna go against you. I'm gonna pick Cincinnati to beat UCF. Something's going on with UCF to get blown out by Colorado like that, and then to go into Florida's not that great of a team this year. I mean, I know they're SEC and all that. I respect it, but I feel like something's off with UCF. I was very impressed with Cincinnati. They're strong on both the offense and defensive line. I like their quarterback. They've got several running backs. They were playing with like their fifth string running back against us. I thought they played fantastic against Tech. It's been a long time since I've probably since some of the K-State teams since I really like respected an opponent like I did against Cincinnati. So that's why I'm going Cincinnati. I know you were torn on that one. Arizona, BYU. I want to pick Arizona, but I'm new to BYU other than our disastrous performance there last year, but BYU just seems like it's a really tough place to play. And so it's not really the record. I'm just going with BYU because it's a home game. It just seems like a really hostile environment. I'm learning more about them like a lot of Big 12 fans. Iowa State, West Virginia. This is a tough one. Um, I'm gonna go with Iowa State, but man, it's pretty much almost a coin toss. But I'm gonna go with Iowa State. I think West Virginia is a tough place to play. I think that Iowa State's a good team, but I think somebody will eventually beat them. I hope it's us, but anyway.
Yep.
Kansas State, Colorado. Colorado. Um, I will be sold on Colorado if they beat K State in Boulder, and even with the altitude advantage and all that. But I'm gonna take K State in that game. So I think we only have one different. I'm taking Cincinnati. You're taking UCF, right?
Yep. Other than that, I think we are pretty much picking the same. So yeah.
Okay. So what do you where does the victory last Saturday at Sunday night Sunday morning, where does it tell me what you think about it? Where does it rank in the Joey McGuire era? By the way, I think Joey McGuire is the first coach to 20 wins since Sloan in the 1970s. He actually got to 20 quicker than Leach.
That's great.
Yeah.
I was ecstatic. I thought that they played a great game, and I mean, to knock off Cincinnati, Arizona State, Arizona all in a row has been, in my opinion, very impressive. It has. This team is coming along nicely, and it shows you what we're capable of when Baron Morton stays healthy.
And not throwing interceptions.
Yeah, and then Taj Brooks. I mean, we already know Taj Brooks is amazing, and I
Yeah, I
think
mean, he chalked up those two
our
fumbles, but that last play was unreal.
2 fumbles and 3 touchdowns. I mean, that last touchdown was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's mental toughness too. I mean, I remember. I'm not saying he's Emmett Smith, so don't. But he does remind me a little bit of Emmett with his ability to block pass rushers, and he doesn't fumble the ball very much. But I remember a couple times in Emmett's career. I am a Cowboy fan, and I was a huge Cowboy fan back in the day. I mean, every once in a while, Emmett would just have like an anomaly where he'd fumble a couple times, and he would do the same thing. He'd get furious and he'd break off like some big run like that, just like Taj did. I think this is one of the biggest wins of the Joey. I thought Saturday night, Sunday morning was one of the biggest wins of the Joey McGuire era because we
Agreed.
went on a road and beat a really quality team. Arizona could easily beat BYU. I mean, I'm picking BYU, but Arizona wouldn't surprise me at all if they beat BYU. I mean, they're a really good team, and I thought our coaching staff did well. I was really frustrated that we couldn't get anything going early in the third, the second half after we got the three and out. But yeah, I was really impressed with the win. We would not have won that game with any coach. I don't care. I love Cliff Kingsbury. I respected Wells. We're not going to talk about the other one, the current U.S. senator. We're not going to talk about him. But we don't win that game with any of the coaches between Leach and McGuire, in my
Totally
opinion.
agree. Totally agree. I thought that
And
was
I could say the same for the last two games before that. I don't think we beat Cincinnati with any of those coaches either. And I don't think we beat Arizona State either without well, maybe Arizona State, but not definitely not Cincinnati. We don't win that game with any of the coaches between Leach and McGuire, in my opinion.
totally agree. I just remember being on the receiving end of some beat downs with Matt Wells, man. I remember some nightmare games.
Yeah,
Like some
definitely.
of the things that Iowa State did to us in a couple of those years was just it's tough to watch.
I remember the most frustrating year for me is after we beat I think it was Tuberville's second year, and we beat OU in Norman. All we needed was one more game to make a bowl, and we lost like 6 or 7 in a row or something crazy.
Oh, I
That was
remember
insane.
Tuberville has the distinction of giving us the first losing season in Big 12 play, if you remember.
Yeah, yeah. It went back to like 93 that we had been bowl eligible. We didn't go to a bowl every year because there wasn't as many bowls back then. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with you.
we'll refrain from talking about what we really think about old Tuberville.
We'd have to go on to we'd have to get a maybe a little bit like what's the platform where you can say anything you want? X or Rumble.
Extra. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could
You
throw out
never know. Could be coming soon.
some 4 letter words to describe it very easily.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, it's nice to have a week off. Let's get healed up and let's go on another winning streak because I think McGuire's November runs will continue. We could very easily. I think we can reach double-digit wins. I really believe that.
Yeah, and we're gonna do some stuff. We're gonna do some. We're gonna have some additional content next week. I think we're gonna divide after the Baylor game. We'll divide the conference into what we think the 4 tiers, and then we might kind of project out, what the remaining 5 games at that point will look like. But we've got Baylor and TCU next, so we have an opportunity, a real opportunity to to put some more wins on the board and that kind of thing. So
Yep.
anyway, we appreciate you guys. Please subscribe, like, and please comment in the YouTube comments. Even if you want to say unkind things, that's fine. Go for it. We love it. All right. Anything else?
That's all I've got.
All right. Take care.
See you, bud.